Isn't it amazing that we have these devices, electronics, TVs, electric cars, and more, being able to know when our phone is about to die and being able to plug it in and bring it back to life? Ever wonder where all of this comes from? Batteries, or is it more commonly something that we tend to not put much thought into? I'm willing to bet it's the latter. One of the most commonly known batteries is lithium-ion. We have this type of battery in our phones, alarm clocks, smartwatches, Bluetooth devices, as well as power tools, and even electric cars. All Tesla batteries use lithium-ion. So now that we know we are surrounded by these lithium-ion batteries, so much so that you're most likely holding one right now or have one close to you. So where does lithium-ion come from? Or, more importantly, cobalt. Cobalt is found in the earth. Like much other things, we have to mine it. So where exactly are the mines located? On this journey, we're going to the Congo. More specifically, and I apologize if I'm pronouncing this wrong, but Kolwezi, Southern Democratic Republic of the Congo. Back in June 2014, a man would be digging in his backyard. He was simply digging for a new toilet when suddenly his shovel scraped this dark gray rock. But this gray rocky powder had some color to it, peppered with blue flakes. Obviously, this intrigued the man. He would hit a vine of hydrogenate, which is commonly refined into cobalt. The man, in shock with his newly found wealth, to make certain of his findings, he brought the ore samples to a local shop where they specialized in ores and stones and some other gems. The man was informed that his ore sample was unusually pure, very pure. Instead of digging up his entire yard for everyone to witness, he would instead head back to his home, which was a rental, and began to dig more than 30 feet deep from within his kitchen. He estimated to have dug up around $10,000 worth, which in the Congo would be considered a small fortune. Most people in the Congo live off of less than $2 a day. The man would end up starting a trend in his neighborhood. Everyone started digging on their own land in search of cobalt, only to have the mayor a month later put in an order to stop digging up land. The man who first found the cobalt was also now missing. The Congo has gone through so much dictatorship, leaving housing costs high and extreme levels of poverty. Everything that is sourced in the Congo that has value, especially for Western countries, has been taken over and sold to mass companies, leaving the locals empty-handed again and again, even using them for very cheap labor. KCC is the largest running cobalt mining company. Approximately, they mine more than 20,000 tons of ore yearly. Cobalt miners typically work 50 hours a week. They are not allowed food in the mines and are barely given enough water to make it through their shifts. Most of the time, their towns, villages are located right beside these big company mines and still don't have running water or electricity. These workers are given very little in return for their work. The higher paid workers will make around €350 a day. That's $3.50. On top of that, they are working in very harsh and dangerous conditions. Often assaulted from their bosses, something that happens more often now that China has bought most of the big mining companies out in a play to get a stronghold on the EV industry. The average homeless panhandler in a small mid-sized city in a Western country can bring in over $100 a day, sometimes more, almost 30 times more than a cobalt miner makes in a day. You would think that being on the front line of a new EV hype, mining cobalt, you would think employees would be able to live comfortable lives at the very least. Yet, most are in worse positions than a homeless person in any Western country. In a CBS News release, children working along dirt roads abandon open pit mines in lakes trying to find cobalt. The work is hard enough for an adult man, but it is unthinkable for a child. Yet tens of thousands of Congolese kids are involved in every stage of mining for cobalt. The latest research by the United Nations Children Fund, UNICEF, estimates 40,000 children are working in the DRC mines, end quote. There is a difference between some mining companies out here. You have more modern companies where they will use machinery, modern machinery, such as dump trucks, excavators, bulldozers, and more to mine cobalt. Essentially, putting more money into buying machines and equipment and having less employees in the process, because I bet one machine can do about 30 people's worth of work. And clearly, it's a more ethical way to do it. While on the other hand, you have companies that prefer, and I'm saying this in quotations, the meat grinder technique. This involves massive amounts of people all over mining cobalt rather than use of machines and often in open pit mines. Why the difference? The, again, quotations, meat grinder technique is less costly, however, far more unethical. Tesla, in a move to save face, is making promises to move away from using cobalt in their batteries and have put out statements saying such. However, there has not been a timeline or a plan of action shared with the community yet. Personally, I don't think cobalt is the issue. I think it's actually great. It could really benefit the Congo massively. Unfortunately, greed always trumps. Efforts should be made in ethically sourcing cobalt rather than just moving away from it into something different, just my opinion. With China buying the majority of mining companies in the Congo to get a strong hold on the EV industry, it's doubtful that much companies will move away from using cobalt. My hope is that the more this topic is discussed, the more of a light is shined on what is actually happening. People die every day in open pit mines. The conditions are harsh and raw. Some of the workers are actually seen carrying their children on their shoulders as they work. The cancer rate is high, with a short life expectancy while working the mines.